Hey everyone! I'm Albert Boris. Alright, so I don't really know how to express myself, but oh my god, Nintendo Switch 2! Okay, let's take a little breather here. Alright. But yes, Nintendo has finally revealed their next mainline home console. After almost 8 years, it still feels like yesterday to me when the first Switch came out. And it's still unbelievable to think that we're all the way at the next generation now. So, what are my thoughts on it? Well, I'm not surprised. Okay, so this has no effect on how excited I am for the system. Believe me, this is the most hyped I've been in years. But I think it goes without saying that this has got to be Nintendo's worst kept secret ever. Like, even as early as September last year, we already knew exactly how the Switch 2 would look, thanks to a whole bunch of different factory leaks. And as the months went on, the more leaks we got as well. So this reveal was less about learning what this console would be like, and more so just about getting a confirmation that it's finally coming out soon. But hey, at least we didn't get that god-awful Switch attach name. The bigger surprise is that they chose to reveal it on Donkey Kong Country Returns HD's release date. But hey, I'm not complaining. That game is mid anyways. But even though the surprise factor was completely absent for me, it's okay because what we're getting still looks like exactly what we need, a bigger and upgraded Switch. The original Nintendo Switch is already easily the best Nintendo system of all time, being not only a seamless hybrid between home console and handheld, but it also has one of the biggest game libraries ever of a Nintendo console, even excluding all the retro games you get with Switch Online. The only major problem was that the hardware was a bit weak compared to other consoles at the time, but seeing as the Switch 2 is supposedly as strong as a PlayStation 4 at least, and it has almost complete backwards compatibility with Switch 1 games, I don't think there's much to worry about. There's still a few new things though, from what we can see though. For one, there's now a USB-C port on both the top and bottom sides of the console, which already is great. The fact that the original Switch 1 only had it at the bottom made it kind of annoying to play it in your bed, if you had to charge it at the same time. Not that I ever had this problem, but hey, I'm not complaining. Secondly, the Joy-Cons now snap to the console instead of having you slide them onto the system, thanks to magnets. Okay, this one I'm a bit concerned about, because if they have magnets now, what if the magnetism wears off over the years? I don't want to be walking around playing on my Switch 2 and suddenly the console just drops on my feet. But hopefully they've considered this and made it so that it won't happen. As long as the Joy-Con drift has been defeated, I think that's what will make me most happy here, because that single-handedly destroyed both of my first two Joy-Cons. But yeah, lastly, there's also a brand new button on the right Joy-Con, and it doesn't even have a symbol at all. Okay, maybe they're just keeping that part a secret for now, but it's definitely what I'm most intrigued by for this new console. In the leaks, it had a letter C on it, and based on that, there's a few guesses as to what it could be for. My first instinct was that it was perhaps going to be a casting button that allows you to cast the screen of the Switch 2 to the TV, even without putting the system into the dock. And on one hand, this wouldn't be too surprising since it would make the Switch 2 a dual screen system, something Nintendo actually filed a patent for back in fall 2023. And that way, we could also maybe get classic DS and 3DS games returning in some capacity. But I digress. I'm fairly sure that could work out even without dual screens, seeing as the Wii U handled that part fine, even without the gamepad. Another guess I see getting thrown around is that it's a chat button for activating voice chat, and that would certainly be interesting and could make multiplayer games more hectic. But once again, I digress, because I shortly realized that Nintendo's player base is largely children, and if they had access to a voice chat, they would undoubtedly learn a whole new bunch of colorful words, if you know what I mean, and I don't think Nintendo wants that to happen, which is why personally I think it's gonna be a button for turning the Joy-Con into a mouse. Because you see this tiny little lamp in the center of it? Yeah, it looks awfully similar to what's under my computer mouse. And the more I think about it, this could actually be a really nice feature. It would certainly make games like Mario Maker 3 a lot more intuitive, and it could also just be an interesting way of navigating games in general. But more importantly, the reason I'm sure about this is that there's a clip in the reveal trailer where the Joy-Cons are sliding on the ground like mouses. So besides this frankly fragile looking stand, I'm so looking forward to finally being able to get my hands on the Switch 2. And to think that we're already gonna get more news on it in a direct on the 4th of February this year is kingly.
Actually, it's April 2nd.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the month comes before the day, obviously.
No, it doesn't! Okay, I guess I was wrong. But hey, I'm still excited. I guess I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get a proper release date yet, besides 2025, but I can't imagine we're gonna have to wait too long, which is why I predict that it's gonna hit the shelves at the earliest on May 29th, 2025. The reason being that not only is it on a first day, which is when most Nintendo products release these days, but it would also be right in time for the summer season, when people can hopefully wind down after a full year of school. But the Switch 2 wasn't the only thing that just got announced, because right when the trailer seemed over, oh my god, new Mario Kart! Okay, I have several things to say about this, and I don't know where to start. Besides that it's been almost 11 years since Mario Kart 8. How? But first off, 24 racers! I don't know why I didn't expect this, because in hindsight, it seems like such an obvious way to make the next game bigger, but I'm all here for it. Because not only is it undoubtedly gonna make races more crazy, but it also means that the character roster is gonna have to be a lot bigger than normally to make up for it. Already, we have 24 characters confirmed, according to the Mario Wiki, and while for the most part it's just the typical playables we know already, like Mario, Daisy, Peach and all that, there's still some more minor characters as well, like Pauline, Birdo and King Boo. But moreover, I'm fairly certain that these are just gonna be the starting characters that you have by default, and that there's probably just as many unrevealed characters that you have to unlock. And boy do I hope this game has unlockables. Having everything be available from the start to you in 8 Deluxe was super disappointing, since, at least to me, a lot of the charm in Mario Kart was realizing that there was actually more to the game than what first met the eye. And I get why 8 Deluxe didn't have unlockables, since it was a port that a lot of people had already played, but at least for the next game, I hope they change that. However, that's just one part of the trailer. What's important is how revolutionary this game looks mechanically. Even from just this one clip alone, we only got to see one track in total and I'm already speechless. Supposedly it's called Mario Bros Circuit, which would indicate that it's either a mushroom or flower cup starter, but it combines so many different elements that it didn't even register to me as a circuit track at first. Because it's not only an American style desert with mountains towering in the distance, but it's also a traffic course at the same time. Admittedly, these cars look a bit puny and there's not really a lot of them, but it's still cool. And immediately, this track gave me huge flashbacks to Radiator Springs from Cars, which probably was a completely unintentional reference, but I still really dig it, as you have a lot of nostalgia for that movie. Oh, but it doesn't stop there, because there's also arrows blocking roads! Yeah, so if you've been on my channel for a while, you probably already know why this makes me happy, but long story short, I loved the city tracks of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Not just because I love geography and traveling as well, but more importantly because of the arrow gimmick. Because by having each lap take you on a slightly different path, it made the track feel much more varied. And if that's gonna be the main gimmick of the next Mario Kart game, I'm gonna be ecstatic. Especially because the arrows are much more obviously visible now, which will hopefully solve the biggest complaint people had about them, that being that they blended in with the course. I think it also bears mentioning how unique the art style is looking for this game. Personally, I thought it would look pretty similar to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, only you know, slightly different. But instead, it looks more like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, with the more cartoony and happy colors, and on another hand, the character models also remind me a fair bit of classic Nintendo 64 renders. And even though I'm a bit weirded out by how different it all looks, I'm very interested to see how this art style will grow on me.
Nah, you're way too lenient on it. This Mario Kart looks like it's been AI generated.
Now why would you say something so controversial and so actually you're right? But I'm sure this will grow on me, and that it only looks uncanny because we've never seen it before. The only thing I don't like outright is DK's design. Nintendo, why did you pick the movie design for him? Not that I have anything against the movie, but it's just, don't fix what's not broken. It's not a major deal breaker though, and on the flip side, I hope we can get some movie exclusive characters thanks to this, like the Blue Koopa General. I guess what I'm mostly sad about is that I won't be able to try out a demo for it, which I presume is gonna be available for the hands-on experience of the console, which is, you know, only available in the United States. Whatever, we'll get the Switch 2 when we get it. And if anything is to go by, this Mario Kart is no doubt gonna become a launch title for it, whatever it's gonna be called.
Dude, it's obviously gonna be Mario Kart 9. Why wouldn't it be?
Look, even if you don't think Mario Kart Tour is the 9th game, I still think they'd rather want a more ambitious name for the long-awaited next-gen Mario Kart. So I think I'll still just refer to it as Mario Kart X, until further disclosure. But yeah, that's about everything that I wanted to say about these things today. Obviously, this is just a reveal trailer for the system, so we were bound to mostly just get a brief showcase, but for what it's worth, I think Nintendo did an excellent job in revealing just enough to keep us excited, but still leaving out enough so that there's still plenty of things to speculate about. So I guess my Mario Kart X prediction videos still hold up. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe if you want to see even more Switch 2 videos from me, because trust me, there's plenty of more things I'd like to say about this system. And also make sure to follow me on Discord, Twitter and Patreon for more updates. And with all of that being said, I'm signing off now. Until next time.